Greetings to you all, ladies and gentlemen. This is Luandile here, the leader and the instructor of Manikwe School. As we all know, Manikwe School is actually dedicated to teaching programming by means of problem solving. We don't teach programming by means of going through a book's content, but we rather go through this textbook over here. We try to solve each and every problem in this textbook, starting from chapter 1 up to the very end chapter. Okay, so right now the exercise that we're actually working on is exercise 2.11, which is located on page 94. Okay, here's the exercise. So it's actually population projection. So we gotta rewrite programming exercise 1.11 to prompt the user to enter the number of years and displays the population after the number of years. Okay, so use the hint in programming exercise 1.11 for this program. The population should be cast into an integer. So here is a sample run of a program. Okay, this is the sample run of the program. Okay, so now let's try to go to exercise 1.11 and see like what was the question. It's actually on page 54. So let's check it out. What is it they want us to do? Okay, the US Kansas Bureau projects population based on the following assumption. Okay, 1 birth in every 7 seconds, 1 death in every 13 seconds, 1 new immigrant in every 45 seconds. Okay. So we were actually asked to write a program to display the population for each of the next 5 years. Assume the current population is this number here, and 1 year has 35 days. So hint, they also gave us a hint here. So the hint is, in Java, if 2 integers perform division, the result is an integer. The fractional part is truncated. Okay, for example, 5 over 4 is 1, not 1.25, and 10 over 4 is 2, not 2.5. To get an accurate result with the fractional part, one of the values involved in the division must be a number with a decimal point. For example, 5.0 over 4 is 1.25, and 10 over 4.0 is actually 2.5. Okay, so now let's get back to the original problem, which is actually on page 94. Okay, so basically what's going to happen is we'll prompt the user to enter the number of years, and then we simply display the number of display the population size after that number of years. It sounds pretty straightforward if you ask me. So let's get on to our IDE. Let me try to zoom in case some people let me start by creating a project first and simply go Java project. Let me call it exercise. Let me call it 2.11. Pick a location. In case you didn't know, I've already created folder on my desktop. So here's my desktop. I created a folder inside it and I've called it textbook exercises, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, correct. I called it textbook exercises. Inside that folder I've got another folder called Java, and that's actually where I decided to put all of the exercises for chapter 2, which is elementary programming. So what I did is to create a folder called exercise 2.11. So that's where I'll actually put my projects. Then let's hit the finish button. Okay, with that out of the way, now let's create our class. And we'll simply call this one here exercise 2.11a, which simply says this is from student A's perspective. As we all know, each problem is solved in more than one way. Okay, now we hit the public static void main method checkbox. With that out of the way, it is actually time to do the exercise. Oh, another thing, you guys, I want you to know, okay, I want you to know where you can actually find in this textbook we're actually using, right? So let me try to go right over here. Oh, where is chapter 2? Oh, chapter 2. Oh, actually that's not where I've put the location for this PDF, because let me insert my Flash so that I can copy and paste the location for this textbook we're actually using. Because the problem is, I could have put a link at the bottom, since these videos are on YouTube. However, I'm not yet qualified to do so. So that's why I would really appreciate it if you guys help me out by subscribing on my channel. That way I'll be eligible to do some of the things that I am not quite qualified for yet. Okay, now let me try to check where did I put I'm gonna try to check where did I put. Oh, there we go, Java book website. Okay, so here's the website over here. Let me copy and paste it. Let me copy and paste it. I want to paste it at the bottom. I mean on top of our main method. So there we go. You can check it out. So you can copy and paste this link here in order to get your own copy for this textbook. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to gain much out of this channel, because you gotta be able to go through these examples on your own. Okay, with that out of the way, it is actually time to do the programming part. Okay, so what we wanna have, firstly, this is what we wanna have. We'll simply declare some constant. The very first story will simply be, so we go public static final. As we know, we use the keyword final in case we have a constant, and we'll simply call that constant seconds in a minute. How many seconds do we have in a minute? There's 60 of them. What else? We'll have a constant called minutes in we'll simply go minutes in an hour. How many minutes in an hour? We'll also have 60 of them. And then we go public static final int initial population, which is actually this number here, 31203248 and lastly 6. Okay, so these are our three constants. And one might be curious, why did we put them outside our main method? No, the reason is pretty straightforward. We want to be able to access all of these constants on other methods too, because as we all know, our main method is actually a method, as the name suggests. It's a main method, so it's a method. So as you guys know, I'm so sorry, we haven't covered methods yet. So what we can do is, like in this case, we can put them inside this main method here or outside, whichever one, but we will be able to access all of them. But you'll see at the very end of this tutorial, we can do whatever we like. So let's try to build the body of our method by simply creating a scanner, going scanner, and then system.in, which simply says we're reading from the keyboard, because of course using a scanner you can read from something else such as a file, but we're not there yet. Okay, what we want to do is to simply prompt a user for now to enter the number of years. Okay, enter the number of years, and we have got to keep that in our variable called number of years. Number of years. Okay, so it's scanner.next int. Okay, once we do that, we simply create a variable that will actually hold seconds in an hour. So we'll simply go sec in hour. Of course, we can make this a constant. It's totally up to us how we're gonna go about doing that. But for the sake of this video, let's just make it a variable. Again, we do know that the number of seconds that are in an hour is actually equals to the number of seconds in a minute multiplied by the number of minutes in an hour. So that is to say, we've got number of seconds in 1 minute, and since we know there are 60 minutes in an hour, so it's simply going to be the product of these two right over here. Okay, what else we then do? We simply create another variable. Call it sec in d. It simply says the number of seconds in a day. So we do know that a day is actually made up of 24 hours. So we can simply say 24 multiplied by sec in h, which simply says 24 multiplied by the number of seconds in an hour. Again, we could have made this a constant. However, I am going to make it a variable. Sec in years, the number of seconds. Sec in year, the number of seconds in a year, right? The number of seconds in a year will simply be the number of, how many days do we have in a year? We were told it's 365. Of course, some years are actually a leap year. However, we were told to make an assumption that a year is actually made up of, all years they are actually made up of 365 days, none of them is actually made up of 366 days, as leap years are. Okay, with that out of the way, now let's get back to this. Okay, we actually gotta go 365 days. Okay, so each day is made up of sec in day seconds. So this variable here will actually hold the number of seconds in 1 year. Again, I keep repeating this part. We could have made this, all these constants, but I'm gonna leave them as variables. Okay. So now we want to know the number of, this is the only variable that we cannot make a constant. Okay, so the number of seconds in years, so that is actually determined by the number of years entered by a user. So it's simply going to be sec in year multiplied by the number of seconds entered, number of years entered by a user, right? Okay, this is the variable that cannot be changed into a constant. Okay, what we then do now, we gotta know the number of deaths. Let me just go number of deaths. Number of deaths is simply equals to because we were told that after 13 seconds, one person dies. Okay, sec in years divided by 13. Remember, you guys, we were told that if you divide an integer by an integer, your result will be an integer. So if you want to also keep the fraction part, I mean all the numbers after the decimal point, you might as well you have got to put maybe you've got to make one of your values, either your denominator or your numerator, you've got to make it a number with a decimal point. Okay, so in this case we're simply going to make 13 a number with a decimal point, and then we typecast it, and then we cast the whole thing into an integer. Okay, what else? We gotta know the number of birds. So we're told that every 7 seconds we would have every 7 seconds one person is born. Okay, so what we're gonna have is simply sec in years. In this case, you folks, I will simply use a 7, and I would really like you to tell me down below on the comments, why did I use 7 and not 7.0 the same way we did for number of deaths, right? In this case, what I decided to do is to simply use 7, not 7.0. So you let me know why did I decided to make this a decision. I'm actually using a 7 and not 7.0. And also tell me if you think I'm missing something here or I'm getting it wrong. I would really love to hear your opinion, you guys. So we actually have number of immigrants. Okay, or let's see, it's gonna be sec in years divided by 45. Again, why are we using 45 and not 40.0? Leave me a comment just to let me know why. Give me the reason why am I using 45 and not 40.0. Okay, now it is actually time to display our output, which is simply the population in number of years is in 10 years, let's just say so, is so we have the population in number of years is, simply put our initial population plus, this is what we'll put, initial population plus number of deaths now we did num We did number of deaths. No, we gotta subtract number of deaths. We don't add people who died. We subtract people who died, okay? So it's gonna be number of plus number of immigrant plus number of plus number of beds. Okay. Now let's try to print out our output and see what we get. Let's just go 3. This is what we have. Let's see, what did they put in this case? What if we put a 5? Let's see whether or not we could get the number they got. So it's 3259, 32970. We're good. There's something a little bit incorrect about this program, and if you think you can figure it out, I would really love to hear that down below. You just put there you just put your comment down below just to let me know what is it that you think I did wrong on this solution here, because we do know that student A is actually a bit dumb. In fact, he is the dumbest out of the 3 students we have. So let me know what might be a problem with this solution and what could possibly be the best solution. What would be the best solution to take that out of the way? Okay, that's pretty much it, guys. It has been a long video. Don't forget to take this website here. That way you'll be able to get your own PDF. Thanks a lot, you guys. I would really appreciate it if you haven't subscribed yet to my channel. Do so. That way I'll be qualified to do certain things on YouTube that I'm not yet qualified for. And you can put a thumbs up, thumbs down, whichever that works for you, whichever that you think it is. I mean, you don't have to like it if you think I messed up. That's pretty much it, you guys. See you on the next solution of this very same problem. Cheers, I'm gone.